Hey guys, Sir Owen Disney here. It is Wednesday night and we're going to talk a little NXT and Smackdown from last week. Sorry it took so long. Obviously there's been a lot going on with Halloween Horror Nights lately and my schedule as well way out of whack, so I haven't had a chance to do what I would have liked to have done over the weekend. But now that's over with and we're leading towards another weekend, I did want to shoot you guys out this video. So normally the way I would be talking about Smackdown would be I would be talking about it leading into Raw, but unfortunately I was not able to do SmackDown before Raw, so things I would say, I'm going to say a little bit differently. But before we go into SmackDown, let's talk a little NXT, shall we? So the show starts off with my least favorite superstar on the roster, and that's Mojo Rawley, taking on somebody I really enjoy, and that is the artiste, Aiden English. And Aiden comes out, of course, with his serenade of Mojo. He says that he's basically a sideshow folly, and for all intents and purposes, he failed the United States by not being able to combat Rusev at TakeOver last week. So, basically, he's a failure. He's a failure in every single way possible, but they're just letting you know. So, we get to this match, really short match. Mojo gets caught with a swinging neck breaker off the ropes, only gets a 1 count for Aiden, and a gut shot in the corner. He nails him with a boot off the ropes and gets a 1 off of that. Locks in a chin lock and it gets countered with a scoop slam from Mojo. And Aiden lands on his feet, shoves off to the corner, charges in, gets the boot up. He tosses him off when he goes for the monkey flip, does Aiden. And a shoulder block from Mojo, tosses him into the corner, the hip check, the hyperdrive, 1, 2, 3. I really wish they'd stop pushing this guy. I don't like Mojo Rawley at all. I never will. There is a huge upside to Aiden English, but they're not really doing anything with him right now. I would think that they'll start doing something with him soon, once the WWE Universe starts buying into him. You know, honestly, I really think he could have a good feud with Adam Rose if they want to go in that direction. I think that'd be a really good idea. If Adam Rose is going to be around NXT, I would do that feud. I would do Adam Rose and Aiden English. And you know, I won't be talking about Adam Rose on the show, but I will say something right now. If they don't do a storyline where there's somebody that hides in the Adam Rose party in the Rosebuds, and that's how Adam Rose gets attacked, I think it's missing a golden opportunity. And I didn't read the SmackDown spoilers, so maybe that happened this week on SmackDown. That is going to be on Friday night on Sci-Fi, but who knows. So we get Natalya in the back, and she basically says that Tyson will always have her support, and that's pretty much the end right there. Excuse me. Get our next match. It is for a non-title match. It is a contest featuring the NXT Women's Champion Charlotte with Sasha Banks, of course, in her corner taking on Bayley. Before the match starts, Bayley gives her one of her headbands around ringside to one of the Special Olympics, and that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm not sold on Charlotte's new music. It kind of reminds me if something happened and Ric Flair's theme was done and remixed by the two untalented goofs in LMFAO. That's what it reminds me of, and if once you hear something, you can't unhear it, and I can't unhear that song. I don't like it at all. I was never really a fan of Charlotte, but she stepped up her game in the match with Natalya. I recapped last week here when we were talking about TakeOver, which actually was yesterday's video. Then just go back and watch that if you're not sold on Charlotte. Non-title match, we get midway through this match. It's very short as well. Snapmare takeover into the figure 4 head scissor and going for the scissors stomp, and she flips her forward, gets a 2 off of that, and Bayley takes the offense, double leg, and pounds away on Charlotte. A boot in, a clothesline, a back elbow, and a double axe handle. The charging shoulder in the corner. A lot of Sheamus offense there. Really strange. The hip attack in the corner, and Sasha tries to interfere, and this allows for Bayley to slide to the floor, nails Sasha for her good measure, and nails a middle rope spinning back elbow for a 2 count. Whip in reverse into a knee strike, and Summer Rae's music hits, and she makes her triumphant return to Full Sail University. And basically, this allows Bayley to get a backslide, which gets countered into a drop kick, and Bow Down to the Queen finishes it off. Summer gives the championship to Charlotte. Summer attacks Bayley, and Paige and Emma come out, make the save, run the BFFs out. So we're setting that up. Another 6 Diva tag match with the BFFs against Paige, Emma, and Bayley. A match we've seen before. I'm sure we're going to see it again. We get a vignette of Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger, and they're trying to see what works with their sort of chant, I guess you would say. And they're like, boom, 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 let me hear you say JJ. Obviously Jason Jordan, and Ty Dillinger says his full name, and it doesn't work. So yeah, they need to keep trying, basically. So we get this next match. It is a squash. It is Ty Dillinger and Jason Jordan taking on NXT enhancement talent, which is Philip Guljar and Stuart Cumberland. And this match pretty much ends with a super kick into Stuart and turned into a ankle slam. Yes, he hit the Olympic slam, and he calls it the Jordan slam. So yeah, Kurt Angle's not going to WWE anytime soon. So that was the end of that. And they showed their babyface fire, and I think that would work really well, them being a legitimate tag team to go after the Ascension, like I mentioned the first time they had a tag team match. Then again, I thought there was money to be made with Scott Dawson and Garrett Dillon as a credible, old-school, old-timey tag team, and they went the way of the dodo. So, needless to say, hopefully we do something with Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger, and there'll be the new babyface team that takes the championships off the Ascension, and that sends the Ascension to the WWE main roster, and I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen. We see CJ Parker in the crowd. He's got a nice sign that says, let the forest be with you. Playing up the fact that it's obviously Star Wars weekends at Hollywood Studios, but that doesn't matter, and I just wanted to mention it. Sorry, it's what it was. So, Charlotte is in the back, and she has to let Summer know that she wasn't needed. Her interference wasn't needed at all. She interrupted a match that obviously Charlotte thought she had well in hand. And she pulls out the Summer Rae on a stick, of course, and Summer says, no more Summer on a stick because now you've got the real thing. And Charlotte made a snide comment that says that's what she thinks. So yeah, dissension between the current and soon-to-be former BFFs is what it looks like at this point. So we get a music video of the new #1 contender to the NXT Championship, Tyler Breeze. And before he gets started, he calls Sami Zayn Seth Rogen's uglier brother. Wow, saying something that everyone's been saying forever. And before the music video starts, it says it is dedicated to all of his friends, even the Uggos love Tyler. And it was a really awesome music video. I'm actually really sold on the music now. I like Tyler Breeze's new entrance theme. I love his old theme, I do, but still, I'm really sold on the new one. We get a video package about Bo Dallas and his trials and tribulations over the past couple of weeks, being forced to leave NXT by losing the match to Big E, and basically throwing a huge Johnny Style tantrum, and forcing him to leave NXT, saying the fans stink, and for the fans just to chant, Bo, leave. Not this shirt, but Bo, L-E-A-V-E. So, yeah. Main event time. No disqualification for some reason. NXT Championship on the line. The man that gravity forgot, Adrian Neville, defending against the Cape Town Werewolf, Justin Gabriel. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place and it's kind of late, so I apologize for that. So we go midway through this match. Pretty good back and forth match, honestly. And Gabriel with a chop on Neville. Catches the forearm, and Gabriel forearms him back. Whip in, charges him with a forearm in the corner. Snapmare and a kick to the spine. Gets a 1 count off of it. Snap suplex into a double underhook. Trying to get a submission on the NXT champion, but it was to no avail. Whip in, and Gabriel gets caught with a flying forearm, and a forearm by Neville off the ropes. Back kick, kick to the chest when he drops his head down. Spinning back kick to the ribs, and he caught him with a boot off the ropes. Kind of a shining black, basically, what it was. And he goes to the middle rope, nails a missile drop kick, gets a 2 off of that. Satellite into a guillotine choke, which gets countered by Gabriel into a Northern Lights suplex 1-2, and the NXT champion kicks out. So, waistlock. And blocked again, and Gabriel decides he's like having none of it, and he decides to club in the back numerous times. reverse standing switch, and an elbow to Gabriel, which caught him right in the eye, which I think busted his eyebrow open hard way, is pretty much what it looked like to me, because you definitely could see the blood, and his eye just started to swell over the second it hit, and he was kind of like doing this a couple times. Kind of like me the other day when I had that thing in my eye in the middle of the video. So, what ends up happening is he charges in, catches a back elbow, and Gabriel springs to the top rope, going for a moonsault, lands on his feet, and he ducks the clothesline. Neville comes off, springboard, 180, and into the Pillman counter when he tries to leap off, 1-2, and Neville again kicks out. He goes up top for the 450, and he lands on his feet, and he gets caught with a high kick and a hesitation drop kick from the charge. Goes up top, and Red Arrow connects 1, 2, 3, and Adrian Neville retains the NXT Championship. Don't know exactly why this was no disqualification, but sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. So, here comes Tyson Kidd out, and he wants to apologize for his actions at TakeOver, basically shoulder checking him and acting like a tool, not shaking his hand after the match was over. Man to man, he's sorry. Well, next time we get in this ring, I'll beat you. Fact. He likes to do fact now, I guess. Makes sense. And he says he wants one more opportunity, and Neville says he's going to have it. So we're going to get that match somewhere down the line, probably in the next season of NXT, which will end up being the final match between Tyson Kidd and Adrian Neville. They shake hands, and that's the end. So, NXT this week, mixed bag, very short matches. I would say, if you want to check out anything, I would check out Adrian Neville and Justin Gabriel. Rest is pretty much a skip, honestly. Mojo and Aiden was too short to do anything. Charlotte and Bayley was alright. Again, too short to do anything. Dillinger and Jordan against the enhancement talent. Again, too short to do anything. Basically a showcase match for a new tag team, but it really wasn't one, to be honest. So, that was a very short 10-minute NXT recap. Proud of myself. So, we get our SmackDown on now. We go to our first match on SmackDown. Of course, the version I watch on SmackDown is a version that starts with the Usos, the WWE Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, taking on Curtis Axel and Ryback. This match was also short. Pick it up midway through. Ryback with a chin lock and vicious clubs to the chest, and he goes right back to the chin lock. So, he punches his way out, gets caught off the ropes with a huge spine buster, and Jimmy Uso makes the save. 2 elbows in the corner from Ryback, and he tags into Curtis Axel. Ryback whips Axel in, and Jay catches him with an elbow. Ryback ends up charging, and he gets Rob Petried out of the ring. Basically got sidestepped, if you were curious what I was saying. And he lands on the ring apron, he gets super kicked off. Axel with a running knee, and drop kicks Jimmy off the apron for good measure. Goes up top, eats the super kick, tag in, and Jimmy comes off the top, Samoan splash, 1, 2, 3, and the Usos win. I've seen a lot better matches between these two. It was basically just cannon fodder. It was a very short match. Excuse me. So, the actual opening of SmackDown is up next. Triple H comes out with Seth Rollins, wearing the Shield gear, of course, still. Gets on the mic and says, Triple H is not the kind of guy to brag. He's not referring to him in the third person. I'm just saying Triple H is not the kind of guy to brag. But he wants to help get answers to all of the questions concerning Seth Rollins. Rollins is responsible for the Shield, the most dominant force in the history of the WWE. Yeah, he's even putting under his own group, Generation X. Good job, Hunter. Way to put people over. And I'm not being sarcastic either. They dominated everything and everyone in their path. They crushed giants, legends, and champions. Rollins says, everybody wants to know why I did what I did on Raw 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you, the only person who I need to answer to, the only person that needs to know this information, the only person I trust with this information is me and me only. Here comes Dolph Ziggler. Dolph comes out and says, I know I'm going to get some trouble for this, and I'm probably going to catch a beating and get knocked down further down the totem pole than I already am, if that's even possible. Truth in advertising, folks. Seth, I couldn't listen to this any longer. You went against authority. I mean, you bucked authority time and time out. You even were part of the reason Batista quit. Bye-bye, Batista. What you did was turn your back on your own brothers. This has been said over and over and over again lately. calls Rollins a traitor. He says, "You sold out, man. You'll never do that, Dolph." Triple H has to respond back. He says, "You'll never sell out. And call yourself Nostradamus because you're right. You will catch a beating for this. As a matter of fact, that beating will happen next." And we start off to our official first match, but the second match I'm recapping on here. It is Seth Rollins against Dolph Ziggler. This match was okay for what it was. Let's pick it up midway through. Off the commercial break, Rollins got the Shinadamaki on Dolph, and Dolph elbows his way out. Whip in reverse, and Dolph gets caught with a flatliner into the middle turnbuckle, and he charges in. Dolph gets the elbow up, charges in, Dolph gets the boot up, and a back kick comes off the ropes, catches Rollins with the exclamation point DDT, and once they get back to their feet, they trade right hands. A duck of a right hand on Rollins, and a hooking clothesline off the ropes on Seth Rollins by Dolph Ziggler. Charges in with a 10 punch in the corner, and follows it up with the reverse neck breaker and the heart stopper elbow. Gets a 2 off of that, and a big drop kick to Rollins. On the outside, when Rollins goes to powder, Dolph goes opposite way, catches Rollins on the floor with a dropkick, tosses him in, goes for the name dropper, gets caught with a turnbuckle powerbomb. Dolph counters him with sunset flip, but no pin, and he turns it into a name dropper, and he gets a 2 count off of that. Leaping kick to Ziggler, stops any momentum he has, goes up top, he climbs up to finish him off, and Dolph runs up, and you think he's going for the Z Factor, but he turns it around, and he nails a facebuster off the top instead. Gets a 2 off of that. Goes for the zigzag, gets swatted off, leap up, and he gets caught with a leaping enziguri kick by Rollins, and he pounds away on Dolph for good measure, nails him with a turnbuckle powerbomb, and the second that he lands, he eats the blackout, 1, 2, 3, and Seth Rollins wins his first official match since being the traitor to the Shield. Yeah, this match was okay for what it was. I mean, it could have been a lot better, but it was okay. It was a good way to start off the show. I didn't mind it. I necessarily would probably recommend this as one of the only matches I'd recommend on this show. There's 2 matches I'd recommend on this show. One I just talked about, one I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. Renee's in the back with Bad News Barrett, and Van Dam is called a flower child. And Cesaro basically has fleas because he sleeps with a dog named Paul Heyman. There will only be one winner tonight, and that will be Bad News Barrett. Randy Orton's in the back, and he shakes Seth Rollins' hand and welcomes him to the dark side. Rollins' response, "I never left." Big Show shows up, gets in Rollins' face, calls him a piece of trash, and looks like he wants to fight. Triple H is like, "Fine, you can fight tonight, but you're going to fight Randy Orton." So we get our main event set up for the evening, Randy Orton and Big Show. Rusev taking on Xavier Woods. I'm sure you know how this goes. Lana comes out looking gorgeous. Promo, Rusev hit, Rusev squash, and that's it. So yeah, of course, basically Woods tries to get some over on Rusev, and he eats the Muay Thai kick and stomp on the back, accolade, and that's over. So, next match of the evening, it is a 3-way dance for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Bad News Barrett defending against Rob Van Dam, Mr. Going Through the Motions, and Cesaro, the King of Swing. So this match was really enjoyable. I've never thought I'd say this, but I wish this was Sheamus in this match instead of Van Dam. I feel bad for saying that, and I feel weird for saying that, but it's true. I'm sorry. So we come back from commercial break, of course. Van Dam's locked in a chin lock. Gee, that's a shock surprise. By Bad News Barrett. Van Dam elbows his way out and comes off the ropes, ducks his head down, gets kicked in the chest, and Cesaro punched off the apron. Van Dam low bridges when Barrett charges. Barrett goes over the top rope to the floor, charges him with a Swiss uppercut, and Barrett whip in, and it's reversed. Cesaro ends up sending Barrett hard into the barricade. A suplex across the barricade, and Van Dam with the moonsault off the ring apron to take Cesaro out of the equation momentarily. Van Dam gets on the middle rope on the apron, and of course it's a corkscrew leg drop onto Barrett. Van Dam nails the slingshot leg drop, gets a 2 off of that when Cesaro ends up making the save. And he makes the save with a diving save, and he waist locks him into the deadlift side salto. The genius of Cesaro right there. A roll-up on Cesaro by Van Dam for a 2 count, and when he gets up, gets hit with the Winds of Change, and Cesaro again makes the save. Cesaro and Barrett go at it, and I really want to see this one-on-one feud once Cesaro goes babyface. This is going to be awesome. And a headbutt and the charging diving Swiss uppercut to Barrett. Cesaro charges Van Dam, and Van Dam answers with a back elbow, and Cesaro shoves Barrett into the leaping the leaping sidekick, the springboard sidekick off the middle rope. And Cesaro with the German suplex on Van Dam. Van Dam kicks out at 2.5. Cesaro going for the outside-in superplex on Barrett, and Barrett punches his way out. A neck snap. RVD nails the 5-star on Cesaro when he hits the canvas. And when Van Dam gets up, he eats the bullhammer. 1, 2, 3, and Bad News Barrett retains the Intercontinental Championship. Could have been a lot better, but easily the best match on the show. And that's not saying much because there really wasn't much on this show, but still, it was okay for what it was. I've seen better matches between the three, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match overall. So next we get the return of Bray Wyatt. Of course, I already talked about that on Raw last night, but I mean, still, this is the return of Bray Wyatt. This is the actual promo that brought him back. He says, "At Payback, John Cena locked me in a box, and as I peered into the darkness, my memories began to haunt me. And I felt the cold hand of the Reaper breathe down. I was afraid, but then I began to remember her face, and how she used to warn me about this evil place, and how she said that they're going to circle you in the water. Bray, just until they see red. But those sharks, they're the ones who are going to help you realize that death is real. And in death, Bray, you will find your rest. But in your rebirth, you will grow much stronger, and you will learn to accept these new great responsibilities. You will become their leader. She said your voice will soothe their ears, and your hand will lead their armies, for you are the way into the city of woe. You are the way to go amongst the lost. Beyond time, Bray, you stand. There's nothing left to fear. Brothers and sisters, I am reborn. Join me." Awesome promo to bring Bray Wyatt back, and really enjoyable as always. So I've already talked about Bray, obviously, on Raw last night, so it was just a really awesome promo. We get our next match, one of the semi-main event matches of the night. I guess there was only one more, so I don't know why I called it a semi-main. It is Natalya against Alicia Fox. Foxy makes a mistake, and of course she gets caught in the sharpshooter momentarily, but Foxy's long legs help her kick off and whip in. She goes for her tilt-a-whirl, and Natty lands on her, hooks the leg 1, 2, 3, and of course after the match is over, she throws a Johnny tantrum, gets up in Lillian's face, and she rings the bell incessantly. So yeah, that's it. Crazy Alicia Fox continues. I wonder what's going to happen when AJ returns. We'll see. In the ring next, we have Bo Dallas taking on Santino Marella with Emma. I found out that Emma did not make the show on Raw last night because she was doing a function for WWE. That's the reason why she's on this and she wasn't on Raw last night. That makes sense. So yeah, this match was really short, and basically Bo ends up with the short arm clotheslines, and he basically finishes off, sets up Santino for the finish with a whip-in to a club to the back of the head and nails the swinging Bodog, gets the 3. After the match is over, Emma is looking over on Santino. Bo gets on the mic and says, "Santino isn't a loser. He did his best. And if you do your best, you're a winner in life. Just believe." How awesome. Motivational speaker, Bo Dallas. Gotta love it. Main event time is Randy Orton and The Big Show. Yeah, this match was fun. So, let's go midway through this match, and we'll just talk about the end of it here. Actually, I don't really want to talk about it. It's just it was kind of a slow plotting match. It wasn't very good. Snakebite DDT across the top rope, because Big Show can't take the middle rope, because obviously that could be very disastrous. He goes for the RKO, Show tosses him off, harpoons Randy Orton, Triple H gets on the apron for distraction, Show grabs him, and then grabs Randy Orton, both are goozled, and Seth Rollins springboards off the ropes and nails a knee strike, and that calls for the disqualification. After the match is over, I don't know why I said Van Dam, RKO on the Big Show, and Triple H gets a chair, hands it to Rollins. Rollins lays it under the head of the Big Show, he blackouts him once, blackouts him twice. Triple H, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins stand above the Big Show's unconscious body as we go home on SmackDown. Yeah, not much I'd recommend on this show. It was just kind of a mixed bag. Dolph and Seth Rollins was good, but it could have been a whole lot better. Cesaro, Barrett, and Van Dam was good, but it could have been a whole lot better. Yeah, that's about all I'd recommend on this show. That's pretty much it. So, yeah. Short recap this week. Not because I wanted to rush to anything, is because it just wasn't much to talk about. So, we got that taken care of. NXT's now covered. SmackDown's now covered. Raw's now covered. So, you know what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's NXT again. And I don't know if we're going to be doing an NXT video tomorrow. More Halloween Horror Nights news broke today, so maybe that's going to get mentioned. Who knows? Probably. I got a lot of time this weekend, so I can do Halloween Horror Nights videos. But let me tell you about the channel for this week, and I will mention that tomorrow. It may be NXT. I may save it until this weekend for Saturday's video, talk NXT and SmackDown. I'll probably watch SmackDown before I go to 22 Jump Street on Friday morning, because AJ and I are doing 22 Jump Street on Friday, and we're going to How to Train Your Dragon 2, or as I like to call it, How to Overrate Your Dragon, on tomorrow night, actually. Long John's How to Overrate Your Dragon. And come back here, probably do some NXT, might be Halloween Horror Nights, who knows, you might see Will and Ben, you never know. And Ashley will be returning to this channel, more E3 coverage for Pop, and then some. A lot of other stuff coming from Ashley in the near future. Hopefully you guys and girls out there enjoyed Ashley's debut with the channel and his awesome videos so far, and they will continue. We will get weekly videos from Ashley, and of course, this coming Friday, AJ's movie reviews, we're going to be talking about the aforementioned movies I just mentioned, and there's a couple more as well. So we got a couple more videos. I believe there's 6 on this video as well. And this Sunday is the 1-year anniversary of Versus, all the way back to when we did The Wizard of Oz versus Oz the Great and Powerful, when our annotations were up, and when we used AJ's laptop as our visual aid. Yeah, we've come so far, so long. We use these now. So, yeah. And no more annotations, because those are a pain. But we're going to do something really epic next Versus, and this Sunday's Versus. And the week after, of course, we got something interesting as well. So, stay tuned. More wrestling content, of course, will be coming. NXT and SmackDown later this weekend. We got Raw on Monday night. You know, very possible I'll be watching Slammiversary this week. I know I haven't been following TNA lately, but no promises. I may try to see if I can catch that if I can. It just depends on the schedule for everything. I got a lot of time to kill this weekend. So, that may happen. If not, we got Raw, and then we're leading up to Money in the Bank in a couple weeks, and of course, so much awesome content. Halloween Horror Nights videos still to come on Pop this week as well. So, hopefully you guys and girls out there enjoyed the abbreviated video. Sorry it was so short, but there's just not much to say about these two shows. They were just kind of there. So in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop if you haven't yet. And if you have, tell your friends to do the same. If you have already done this, you can go ahead and like our Facebook fan page. It is Sir Owen Disney Pop. You can send me a friend request on Facebook. It's Owen Disney. You can follow me on Twitter. It's @Sir Owen Disney. And last but certainly not least, if you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions, and if you would like to become a podcaster yourself, you can send your video content and you become a podcaster. Do that in my email, siroandisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.